Welcome back. I'm Kristen Eargle, and today I'm joined by an incredible crew here. We have to my left Steve McLean, CEO of Influxer, Keith Miller, Vice President of Influxer, and Kimya Massey, Associate Vice President and Executive Director of Athletics there at San Diego. Thank you guys for being a part of us today.
Thank you for
We're
having
talking
us.
a lot about NIL. It is the buzz around here, all the things that have been going on, how everything fits in here. So I do want to bring you guys in to kind of give us some insight into how this is going to look. And then obviously a university is doing this extremely well. My biggest question to start out when I was looking at some of this is, how does Influxer balance compliance with the monetization piece of it for someone that's kind of just starts fresh on new and someone looking into this for the first time?
Yeah, so Influxer, we've got a little niche market that we've really tried to focus in on, and that is using NIL as a vehicle to help professionally develop some of these student athletes. And we do that through the merchandising. We have a lot of different things that are built in, and everything down through our app to really give the student athletes some experience with financial literacy, marketing. They get to play with this stuff firsthand, and they really get to feel it. So it's not just a direct payout. Hey, this is something that is very tangible experience that's going to help them in the next stages of life. And myself, I was a compliance officer for 25 years. Loved developing student athletes. Steve over there, ironically, was a student athlete
That's
of mine back in the day, but then he went on to the coaching world prior to Influxer. So we've really got this professional development mindset for the student athletes. So as we got Influxer going, it was really about how do we utilize this NIL experience to assist great schools like the University of San Diego, with their programming and support what they do, and provide a nice monetary benefit for the student athletes, give the fans something to get excited about, to get involved with NIL. Since not everybody has a lot of money to donate, they can certainly buy a shirt or be involved. And so our mindset is every student athlete at the university that we work with has an opportunity to opt in, to get involved with this. They could be the starting quarterback, they could be the third string catcher on the softball team. We take them all. So that's our mindset. That's where we are.
I think my favorite part of what you just said was everybody has an opportunity on
Yes.
that roster to be able to monetize that piece of it, because obviously every single person that comes in, and from playing days and coaching, all that, they have their own fan bases.
You're exactly right. And we wanted to give everyone that opportunity, but we also want to do it in a compliant way that was easy for the universities to work with us as well. Because that's not easy. When you start talking about the volume and scale in which we're trying to operate at, the student athletes are number one for us, but in order to best serve them, you have to best serve this universities as well. So our tools and everything that we're building is not just about, hey, can we monetize these student athletes and give them that avenue, but also can we make it compliant, can we make it easy, and can we make it available for everybody in a way that doesn't require too much effort? And that goes for the student athletes and the universities themselves.
Yeah.
What does the royalty split look like between everything from the student athlete, the university? How does all that work?
Yeah. You want me to take that?
Yeah, go for it, Steve.
Absolutely. So we use the university's IP. So the universities receive royalties based off of the sales. And that's a royalty rate that they set. And then we do a 60% net profit split for our student athletes. The idea behind that is really to provide transparency and try to give them as much look on the inside of how do we get to that profit, right? And once we get to that profit, they get the majority of it. I think we hit on those. I would like to say we're actually making a change on July 1st to a flat rate model. The idea behind that is to provide them the same amount. So the student athletes are still gonna be earning the highest royalty rate that they possibly can with us, but in a less confusing way. We got a lot of questions. What is net profit? How do you get to net profit? And we're providing them breakdowns, right? But what we found out was there's some stressors on the admins to be able to answer those questions.
Makes sense.
So we hit on the transparency, we hit on the consistency, but we want to hit on the simplicity, right? So we're switching to a flat rate model, July 1st. And in that way, we can still give them the highest royalty rate, but make it really easy to understand for them.
And for a company, I think that that's something that people don't always talk about, but when you get some feedback, make some changes to it. That speaks well for your company.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the partnership between NIL and the student athlete, what kind of feedback have you been getting so far in terms of how does it really help promote them? I mean, what's been the reaction so far?
Right.
Go for it.
Yeah, so for us, we want to make it as easy as possible, but we also understand that social media is a part of that. So for every student athlete that signs with us, we've been generating these social media graphics for every single one, all 44,000 of them, for them to post and promote and give them those tools that they can use to say, hey, I don't have to go out there. I don't have to build it or spend too much time. They're extremely busy. We'll do the hard work. We'll do the legwork for them. But give them that opportunity to say, okay, I'll go post this. And I have a good idea of when I do post it, sales start to generate. And it's like, okay, something starts clicking, right? And then for us, it's about how do we continue to tool them? How do we continue to give them the resources to understand that that works, but also be able to actually put those into action, right?
How involved is the university in the promotion piece of this? I mean, is there a heavy lift from them at all?
I'll let Kimya. I'll launch him up though. Because I think what Kimya's got set up is amazing. He's really got a really great thing going there in San Diego. He's got a great staff member. Lauren is absolutely fantastic, and the support, and we try to provide support and resources for her. We even did an on-campus education visit where we get to visit with folks and bring some live sales data and things like that. But we do most of the heavy lifting. Aside from like helping us get some of the student athletes opting in and enrolled, that's the biggest heavy lift for the university. We take it from there. Shipping, we handle all the headaches of shipping problems, porch pirates, all that kind of stuff that is naturally going to happen in this business.
Sure.
We take care of all that. We don't want the schools that have to deal with that or worry about customers, getting a bad taste in their mouth for the university. We want to make sure we represent the university really well. So we do the heavy lifting, but universities, they got to have the great program. And that's one of the things that we love about San Diego is what he has going on there. There's your softball. I'll let you brag about what you're doing.
Up the bat. No, thanks, Keith. And I appreciate Stephen having us on here. I think that some of these opportunities are really great because you have an opportunity to partner with someone who really cares about the student athlete's best interest. And with what Influxer does, I think that was really a key component for us to start the partnership. And as Keith mentioned, Lauren Kirby's a rock star. She's our head of our NIL program and does a great job integrating not only just with you all, but also with our athletes and making sure that they understand what the return is, what this looks like, what's the time commitment, but how this can help build a brand. And I think a lot of what we miss with NIL nationally is this is a brand builder. This is an entrepreneurial opportunity. And if we can get student athletes in position to utilize that effectively while they're in their 4 or 5 years at the institution, it's really impactful and also increases visibility and scope for the university. And I think that's another avenue for this that is really, integral into the nature of how we can do this and do it the right way. So it's been a great partnership. There's a lot of growth and still opportunities to go. And I think it's been something that you mentioned on it earlier. It's impactful for every athlete. And I think that's something that's can't quite say the same in a lot of places. So for us, it's really good from an equity standpoint. And as I think we move into this new revenue share era, we have to think a lot about Title IX and the opportunities that we're giving to our athletes across the board.
You brought that up, Rev Share, and I wanted to touch on that. One of the interests for having you guys a part of this right now is to really, truly understand how does it impact Influxer and the types of things like NIL does.
Yeah, I can say the last couple of weeks have been very interesting because we've gotten a lot of calls from schools. Everybody is looking for that new revenue stream to help fund, everything that's going on. And so we're definitely seeing a huge increase. One of the aspects to us, we get this question all the time. How much do we charge the schools? We're free to the schools. We do not charge the schools for our services. We have kind of a eat what we kill type of mentality. So I never want to come to Kimya and say, hey, you owe us money. That's not how we operate. We want to provide a revenue stream. And if we're doing well, we're going to earn money on our end, on our share. But we always want to be a value add for a school like USD. And so as these schools get into the rev share, we don't want to be a headache. We don't want to be an added expense to them. We want to help be part of the solution. So that's our approach.
I love that. Okay, so I'm going to ask it, which is, how does this impact women's sports, Olympic sports? I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to put you out there like that.
We take that head on. Not putting us on the spot at all, because honestly, that's just focus for us. Like, when we say impact all student athletes, we truly mean that. And we take that to heart. I'll be honest, we're not changing lives with a substantial amount of money, but we are impacting those lives. And we are giving the opportunity for the female sports, the Olympic sports, all sports, right? And that's really, really important for us. So we really take that approach that, hey, you might be a star football player at a major university. This deal is equitable throughout for everybody, right? So it is truly the same opportunity, no matter where you are, what sport you play, what gender you are, how much playing time you have. It's not about that for us. It's about being this platform that someone can build their own brand and a school can build their own brand on, and us continue to just give the tools around that.
And we actually have a very specific shirt I watch women's sports. We've got some really cool designs, and those sell.
Yeah,
people
absolutely.
do enjoy those types of merchandise. So we're very intentional along that line.
I love that. Okay, so a buzzword that I keep hearing that I want to ask you guys about is the micro moment, and then student athletes, capitalizing off that. What is that?
Yeah.
I mean, what are we talking about?
So we do have the micro moments that happen in sports, and it's not every week, but micro moments do happen. And, we'll use USD as an example. Let's say one of their basketball players just has a phenomenal moment that is all over national news and all over social media. One thing, we're going to do is, hey, Lauren, we'll go to Lauren first, not because you're a busy guy, but we'll go to Lauren and say, hey, we want to help the student athlete. We want to help USD really capitalize on the moment. Let's do a special shirt or a special line of merchandise to really capture that moment and, help that student athlete build that brand, based on that moment. Maybe it's a big last, buzzer beater shot, or it's a last minute touchdown to win the game, or a tremendous catch. Like we've had some really good moments that we've been able to work with. I'm thinking of the University of Florida. We had a really cool one.
Yeah, that was Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah.
But if I can add, I think I can specifically talk about a tool that nobody knows about yet that we're working on.
Okay.
It's about 95% way done in its development. But right now, micro moments, the difficult thing is a moment happens and then it takes 1, 2, maybe 3 days for you to really capitalize on the sales and turn that into merchandise, right? So we're working on a tool. It's not launched yet. We're really excited about providing it to the universities for them to turn a micro moment into merchandise within minutes. So if we can take that timeline and shrink it, you can capture the audience that actually just saw that micro moment in person and turn that into sales through merchandise within minutes. So we're working on that, essentially shrinking that timeline and really being able to capitalize on the heat of the moment. Something has happened, and putting that tool in the university's hands, in the media's team's hands at that university to really just say, hey, this happened, it's a hot market, and we don't want to wait too long while the sales could be right there in front of them. And that's going to be incredible because that is a great opportunity for the student athletes.
Yeah.
Great opportunity. So we want to really take that and turn it into minutes and just see the sales kind of skyrocket right after that moment happens.
From what I'm hearing,
This is a great
yeah.
tool for Lauren to have in her pocket, as she continues to grow the program there in San Diego. And we work with a number of great NIL directors, and they're looking for tools. And so what Steve just mentioned is a great tool.
I can't wait to give it to Lauren. Yeah, Lauren is one of the best NIL directors in this country. I'm being serious. Kimya got an awesome NIL director. Kimya's got a great staff. Kimya's great himself. I hope she doesn't get picked off. You got to keep her around. We love working with her. So I can't wait to really
don't put that out in the atmosphere.
I'm sorry, cut that one out. Right. We're really excited to debut that tool, and San Diego is going to be one of the first for sure to be able to use it.
And talking from your perspective, Kim, and when you guys visit, when you started this relationship, what were some of those conversations like in terms of you guys are growing and evolving and you keep adding products, but how do you make sure your company's focus and mission doesn't change? What are those conversations like when you were sharing?
Boy, I don't know that we've ever had the question of like changing direction with our mentality. I think it's just in our DNA who we are and putting the student athletes first. I don't even know that there's ever been a flinch of changing that type of direction.
It's good. We have these core principles that we don't leave, right? So we will continue to build. We're innovators. That's why relationships with Kimya and other ADs are so important, because we'll take all the feedback and we will change. We will evolve and we'll continue to innovate, but it's always going to be on that core principle of providing for every student athlete, doing it in a compliant way, empowering them, educating them, and providing a monetization opportunity that's going to impact not just one athlete, but hopefully hundreds of thousands.
I do have to hit you with a tough question, so buckle up a little bit. But there are people out there that feel like the traditional aspect of college sports has changed and have a hard time embracing that. What would you say to someone that says NIL is ruining college sports?
Ooh, I can start that one. You know, it is challenging at times because it is such a different paradigm that we're used to for all of us, even the people that work in it. That being said, you know, you look at the evolution of professional sports and things over the course of time, and everything does change. That's just the world around us, you know, and this is no different. And, you know, I think the sooner that we can embrace it and be able to really educate about it, I think is the biggest piece. You know, I think this is really only 4 years old. It's not a very long time in the scheme of things. And I think it's one of the biggest gaps that I think I've seen across the board is that we probably haven't always done a great job of educating our fans and alumni, donors, supporters about what it is and what are the true parts of this industry that are evolving that we have to make sure that are integral to the student athlete experience. You know, we've talked about that a lot already. And that's something that's probably going to be continuing to evolve over time. But I think we have to be genuine, authentic about what it is and what it isn't. And the better we can do that, the more people I think will embrace it and dive into it and say, oh, this is actually pretty cool. And I can get a cool t-shirt, or I can support my favorite athlete and do it in a really genuine way that's not all about money, really. There's a piece of that, don't get me wrong, but it's about the experience and what we're providing for the athletes that's going to help them in their lives 20, 30 years down the road.
Staying with you, Camille, if someone's thinking about, you know, every time I see in the D1 ticker, somebody else is partnered and all that, from your perspective, you know, what advice would you give someone that's trying to navigate putting this together at their schools? You know, anybody could be watching this from all different levels, or when you make a change, what would be your advice walking through this process?
Yeah, no, I think you just got to vet. There's a ton of different companies, organizations out there that are doing different things in different spaces, and I think vetting them and spending time with them to see who they are as people, individuals, feeling comfortable with them, feeling that they're actually going to bring value to the students, but also the institution, I think is really first step. I think two, and then is, will your athletes use it? That's a huge piece of this. Will they actually utilize this in a way that's effective for them and what they're doing on their day-to-day basis? Then I think third, as you start the partnership and collaboration, you want it to be an opportunity where you both feel like you're mutually invested in this relationship. We feel that, you know, these guys came out to our campus, they saw it, they met our students, they met our coaches, they met our staff. I think that goes a long way. That shows that they're invested in what we're doing, but they also get a sense of being on the ground and, okay, these are actually the students that are going to benefit from this. And I think that goes a really long way towards solidifying a relationship.
Yeah, I love visiting campus because I get to know firsthand what's important to him, what's important to his coaches and student athletes. You know, sometimes I go to different campuses. The importance is on very niche things, but it's really important for us to get out to campus, to see that, to, develop those relationships.
Final question for you guys. When you think about it, this is just one moment in the history of college athletics. I know we get real concerned about where we are in time and changes, but 10 years, 20 years from now, it'll be something else that we're kind of navigating through. But when you think about Influxer and the legacy that you want to leave on college athletics, how would you describe that?
Ooh. I think Kimya touched on it earlier. There's going to be student athletes that have signed up, have spent time on our platform, but hopefully that impact is 20 to 30 to 40 years throughout their life of saying they can point back to being with us, being with a university like San Diego, and saying like that truly impacted how I was able to develop professionally, personally, and just take that along past whenever college athletics ends for them. It doesn't matter. We've made some type of impact that can last for a long time. That's our hope.
I think, as I look at my own career, like I graduated from law school and I could have practiced law and made a lot of money. I chose to go into college athletics because I wanted to make a difference. As I get to be around colleagues like Kimya and other folks in the business, yeah, a lot of people got into this business to make a difference. And as I left the campus life and, we started working as Influxer, I'm still making a difference, just in a different way from a different angle. And, as we talk about legacy, just making a difference. How can we make a difference?
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you so much, guys, for your insight and time. Continued success.